It's been a very exciting week for Doctor Doom, for Doomsday, and for the MCU, as we're currently receiving a ton of information from the Walt Disney Studios Marketing Expo in Shanghai. First, you will recall we got our very first look at Doom through the cutout and through the big poster on the wall, as well as that big holographic show that gave us an indication of what to expect with Doom, as well as what many are calling little hidden Easter eggs and nods as to what's to come. Well, today we take another step in the right direction with Doom as we have our first official synopsis, and it gives us a great depiction of what exactly Doom's abilities, capabilities, and mission will be as we step into Doomsday. Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to The Cosmic Wonder. I'm Chris filling in for Warren today. You may recognize me from our podcast or from the live streams here on the channel. There are a few different depictions of the synopsis, and we're going to go over the one that's currently circulating heavily on the internet. The first one stating, the first official synopsis for Avengers Doomsday. Doctor Doom has officially arrived in the MCU. This villain, a master of cutting-edge science and powerful magic, will unleash a cascading crisis across the entire multiverse. Now, this is being passed along by every insider, and it does come officially from this event in Shanghai. There's also a version in Chinese on the internet that, when translated, reads something close to this. Avengers 5, Doomsday, Avengers 6, Secret Wars. Doctor Doom will officially take center stage in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The ultimate villain, who combines top-tier science and the most powerful magic, will ignite a chain reaction across the multiverse. Marvel legend Robert Downey Jr. will make a surprise return in the brand new role as Doctor Doom. Now, both of these are very similar. We had the English translated synopsis, which was what I read first, and then this one translated from the Chinese from the event in Shanghai. This information, alongside and hand in hand with the first looks that we've been getting for Doom, that little PowerPoint slideshow holographic, super futuristic look that we got at Doctor Doom as he was phasing through multiple different parts of his life, as well as showing some Avengers, X-Men, Black Panther, different logos, really encapsulating everywhere that we're at in the MCU right now, is definitely driving excitement really high. And it should. But the question still remains around who Doom is. So far in the multiverse saga, we've gotten very little indication, actually almost no indication, as to who, where, or what, or why Doctor Doom will be. Now, we've known for quite some time that RDJ would be coming back. All around the time where we knew we were losing Kang as the villain and they weren't going to recast him, they've decided to completely shift over to Doctor Doom. But Doctor Doom, however, many would agree, is one of the biggest villains in the MCU canon. And really, we're just getting him dropped into the middle of a saga, and people are wondering, what are his abilities going to be? Is he going to be more of an Iron Man-esque villain since he's being played by RDJ, or is he going to be a little bit more true to his comic origin? And it seems like they are, very heavily in fact, from the synopsis, leaning more into that comic origin. In fact, at one point, as it talks about his sorcery and his magic here, he does even become the Sorcerer Supreme. So we will in fact be seeing a lot of that magic coupled with his high-tech ability, which I'm sure there will be a lot of Tony Stark similarities to, since they brought RDJ back. And I think we can also agree they didn't bring RDJ back for no reason whatsoever, so I think a lot of the tech that Doctor Doom will be creating will have some very strong similarities. But we also need to discuss the sorcery aspect. Doctor Doom has a very rich history in the comics, and a lot of it stems back to his sorcery, his magic ability, and that, now coupled heavily with the Tony Stark design of tech, seeing that it is RDJ, is going to give us a very powerful Doctor Doom, which is probably one of my biggest concerns. How are we going to see Doom's power? How is this character, who has had up to this point one post-credit scene where we saw the back of his head and a mask, going to demonstrate that he is the biggest, baddest source in all of the MCU? Because realistically, we're going to have to learn where he came from, what he's capable of, and what his plan is in one film. Now, there are some relics, some items, some magic and technology sources that this synopsis could potentially be extremely heavily connecting to the future of the MCU and maybe even to Doom's origin. Now, whether these relics play an important role moving forward in the MCU is extremely unknown, and of course, I am referring to what we thought at one point might have been Kang Tech, but now might be retconned or changed to be Doom Tech. And yes, of course, I'm talking about the 10 rings and the bangles. Now, during that holographic display of Doctor Doom, we very clearly saw what appeared to be the rings and him using sorcery, him being Doom, to create something. Now, the idea behind this, and what fans are very excitedly jumping into their theories of, is that Doom actually was the original creator of the 10 rings, the bangle, and all of this connected technology and magic. Because one of the best ways to describe these items aren't exclusively one or the other, but a combination thereof of both. Now, some of the theories are running pretty wild that perhaps Kang stole Doom's tech, or Doom took Kang's tech and made it better, because Kang wasn't a sorcerer. Kang was extremely intelligent, an engineer, and capable of creating amazing technology like what we see with the TVA. But now, if we take Kang's tech and we couple it with Doom's magic, so let's assume, for instance, Doom takes over and destroys the Kangs. We've been hearing for quite some time that Doom is very angry at Kang for making the sacred timeline, for eliminating Doom and his family. So is it possible that Doom eliminates all of the Kangs? We see this either on or off the screen, hopefully on the screen, and he takes his technology, merges it with his own, which will be heavily influenced by Iron Man and Tony Stark, and then, of course, also has the sorcery to go with it. So not only does he have a high intellect, technology that nobody else has or is capable of creating, and the ability to bind it with magic, he also has a deep understanding and grasp for the multiverse, which very few of our heroes currently in the MCU really have any understanding or even knowledge of. In fact, it's pretty close to almost less than 10 characters who have any knowledge or any interaction with the multiverse at all. So of the entire MCU, very few understand or even know about this, and Doom's pretty much perfected multiverse travel. So with this official synopsis giving us a little bit more of an idea of what Doom will be capable of, it makes it a lot easier for us as fans to imagine how he's going to be presented as this big bad, or maybe even potentially from his point of view as this massive savior or hero, eventually also hopefully leading to God Emperor Doom. He's going to have the sorcery, he's going to have the technology, he's going to have high intellect, and he's going to have a higher understanding of the multiverse than almost every other character in the MCU. Let's now put that together with the face of one of 616's greatest heroes ever to live, and a lot of characters who are going to be surprised to see that face. We're going to see some high-level manipulation, some misunderstanding, and some very strong internal conflict from a lot of characters who want to trust the face of RDJ, but are hearing from others, potentially like the Fantastic Four, that Doom is no good, and that his intentions are quite awful. In fact, we will be seeing this massive conflict happening in Doomsday and in Secret Wars as Doom puts together a team, and Loki and the Avengers potentially put together a team as well in order to have that big battle at the TVA, because all roads lead to the TVA. And we know the TVA must be destroyed in order for Battleworld to be formed, where God Emperor Doom will reign supreme. But with this synopsis, which is very short and isn't necessarily new information, but it is a solemn confirmation that Doom will have his sorcery abilities, his cutting-edge technology, and his high intellect, which will put him miles ahead as one of the biggest threats or potential champions of the MCU. I guess it all depends on what side of the coin you land on when it comes to his idea of saving the multiverse. This is a really exciting bit of information that we got from the expo. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments section down below. And I'm very excited to see what else we might learn about Avengers Doomsday as we're preparing for a long year of marketing and a lot of excitement and theories. Thank you guys. We'll catch you in the next one right here on The Cosmic Wonder.